1545. This is Sengoku Jidai, the age of the country at war. For 200 years, the Ashikaga shoguns have ruled from Kyoto. Great splendor and power were theirs. Now the overmighty clans no longer obey. The time has come for a new warlord to become shogun. But who will be victorious?
Who will be victorious indeed? Hello again everybody, I am Big Red One, and I would like to welcome you to the Gamers Armada review of Shogun 2 Total War, the latest installment in the Total War series by Creative Assembly. Okay guys, the first thing you're going to notice is that you've got your single player mode and you've got your multiplayer mode. Quick note on the multiplayer mode is that it has the new Avatar Conquest mode, which is really interesting, and I will get into that later. I think everybody's going to love it. But on the single player side, beside your historical battles, which are always fun to play, and what everybody's here for, the single player campaign. The single player campaign is the most important part of the game. In fact, that's what every series is built around. Picking a clan or a tribe or any faction to make it easy, and then take them about the world to conquer it and destroy as you please, and that is really what draws everybody, and I absolutely love it. This is easily my favorite series in all of PC gaming right now. And what you're seeing here is just I'm cycling through the clans just so you can get an idea. You got 9 choices. They all look different. They all have their own special abilities and their own special units, and they're all a lot of fun to play depending on how you like to play the game. Quick note on this game though, just like in every game prior to this, there really isn't a whole lot of story. Each clan is given their own basic backdrop, but beyond that, there's really no story in the game. It's up to you to decide how the story of this game unfolds. You've also got the basic campaign options that you always have, your short, your long, and the domination. I'm one of the domination players. I always pick domination. It's just no fun to play otherwise. As for the clan of choice, I'm going to pick the Hojo clan at top. They got the blue, and they have a Triforce as their symbol. You gotta love that. Anyway guys, what you're looking at here is your basic campaign map, and this is where you're going to spend most of your time in the game. Unless you're a big battle player and plays every battle that comes through, this is it. You're going to spend a lot of your time deciding what to build, who to train, what to upgrade, who to be diplomatic with, who to make war with, and what have you. Everything's going to be done from here, and I really like this part of the game. I was a big fan of Risk as a kid, and I know a lot of us are. So it's very easy to see how this kind of game can really be good for somebody like that. What you're seeing now is just me dig into the menus just to give you an idea of what's there, how to monitor your towns and your units, things like that. It's not going to be a whole lot different from Empire Total War. You still got the same kind of screens, the units still kind of have the same menus, that kind of stuff. It's really not going to be very different. But that's really not what this game's all about. This game is more about its setting than it is anything else. Medieval Japan is just fun, and a lot of people love the concept of ninjas and samurais, and that's why this works so great. What you're seeing here though is your actual clan screen, your clan management, just like you would have had a faction management in previous games. You've got your faction tree or your clan tree, and you've got your basic records that are going to tell you who you've conquered, when you conquered them, that kind of stuff, what battles you've won or lost. Other than that, you've got your diplomacy screen. Your diplomacy screen is probably the most important screen in this game. This will make or break you as far as your alliances, your trade, that kind of stuff. Exchanging hostages or arranging marriages to solidify those alliances or trade routes. All very good stuff, and what's great about it is in this game it's not nearly as difficult as it was in the other games. People are not as stupid. They accept good trades, they reject bad trades. What you're seeing here now is your actual research trees. You've got Bushido and you've got Chi. Bushido is all about your warriors and the people you're going to employ in the battlefield and improving them. Chi is all about improving your towns and provinces to make sure they're more productive. It's very simple, but it's interesting because it's not about researching through universities anymore. It's just how do you want to handle your clan. Over here is what you're going to see is a finance tree. It's really all about showing your records, who you're trading with, that kind of stuff. Really not a whole lot there, but you can dig in and micromanage things if you want to really see how you're being productive and who you'd be more productive with trading. At the top, of course, you're going to have your mini-map, which is always going to be present in most of these games. gives you your idea of how big Japan is and what kind of map you're dealing with. And you've got your little icons underneath it, which will expand depending on your event log, your armies, things like that, if you want to look and see what you're doing. Cool thing about the mini-map, you see, is you got trade routes just like you had in Empire Total War, which is going to give you more money if you get your trade ships out there, which is interesting. You can enlarge that map. You can even make that map disappear, which I personally like. I don't always like having the map around, but I know a lot of people do, just to kind of get an eye on what's going on, what province belongs to whoever. And now, guys, I'm going to bring you to the other part of the game that is the second biggest part of the game. If you ask me, this is the Robin to the campaign's Batman. It's very important. It's the battles. This is where you're going to fight the other units, and you're going to see there's really not a whole lot of difference between this game and the other games as far as your options. You've got your auto-resolving, you've got your fighting on the map, and you've got your retreating. One cool option is that you can have a drop-in player take place of the other enemy units and fight them on the main battlefield, which is pretty cool, so you can always have a human presence if you want. I choose to auto-resolve a lot, and I'm going to show you here what auto-resolving does. They have a little battle right on the map that you see, and your units die accordingly, and it'll give you an idea of how the map went at the end, just give you a status report. But of course what you want to see is the on-screen campaign battles, and I'm going to shut up because I want you to watch this.
またしても戦い、またしても家の誇りを守るとき、またしても旗印がたなびくとき、我らの名声が永遠に轟くぞ。敵が高々と軍旗を掲げている。ここまで藩を大きくした功績は立派じゃ。誇らしいのも当然じゃろう。だがこの戦いでは当然我らの餌食になってもらう。者ども、ここが正念場じゃ。ひるむな。足の配下に一人として無用の者はおらん。
And how awesome was that? I love that at the beginning of every battle. My general gives an inspirational speech to my men. It's just awesome. It's a quality of this game that very much endears me to it, and I think it's a very nice aesthetic touch. I really do. And now, as you guys watch me partake in a battle in real time, I'm going to try to explain to you what I think of the game, the important parts of the game, and what I would rate it. The first thing I'm going to start off with story. Story is not necessary to this kind of game. It's really all about your battles and taking your clan to the highest it can go. Overall, of course, each clan has their backdrop, and yes, you are fighting to become the new Shogun of Japan, which is just the military leader of Japan. There's really not much else to it. I'm going to say it's a 7 out of 10 for what it could be, but overall, there's no story that you're going to love. I'll tell you that right now. The second part of the game that I want to talk about is just the setting, which I've kind of talked about a little bit as far as it being medieval Japan. And if you haven't heard it on my voice, I'm going to tell you right now, it is absolutely awesome. I love commanding samurai. I love having ninja to sabotage armies and assassinate people. I just think it's one of the coolest parts of the game. The setting is fantastic. I would give it a 10 out of 10. I love Japan. If I could play every game in Japan, I would. It'd just be awesome. That's just me, though. Some of you might not be as keen on Japan as I am, and that's okay. I think it'd be very hard to deny, though, that this is a cool setting to play any game in. Even if it's not a 10 out of 10 for you, I'm sure you're going to love it. The next part that I really want to talk about is the presentation, which is just about how the game presents itself to you visually, and I think this is one of the best parts of the game. I think the graphics are great. The campaign map is visually stunning, with the waves of the oceans cracking about and the people moving around, the little battles to do on screen when you auto-resolve. Just fantastic presentation. And again, including the mini inspirational speeches by your general at the beginning of every battle. Great presentation. Overall, definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. I thought it was fantastic. One of the last things I want to talk about is the gameplay and the environments. The gameplay hasn't changed from the last game to this game. It's pretty much the same thing as far as building buildings, training units, fighting, be it auto-resolving them on screen or fighting the battles in real time. Really not a whole lot of difference. The environments haven't changed. You still got your basic battlefields, big clearings for you to fight in, which is very commonplace, and it'd be very hard to fight if it was all trees everywhere and that kind of stuff. But again, not a whole lot of variation in those environments. Especially in your settlement towns where you fight, the sieges pretty much all look the same. Not a huge gripe, but something I would love to improve if I could. I'd probably give that a 7 out of 10. If they could improve that, it'd definitely go up. One of the things about the gameplay I do want to note is that your sea battles are much easier. No more switching between shots. and taking the time to shoot and reload every time. And lastly, we're going to get into the multiplayer, which is going to be something I think you're going to find very fun and addicting. One of the first things I talked about in this review is that the Avatar Conquest mode, which is under the multiplayer portion of this game, is very fun, very addicting, and I think it's something that people are going to love. If you've ever wanted to make your own little Japanese warlord, this is how you do it. Basically what you're seeing now is me pick a guy. I got to name him, I got to pick his armor, I got to pick his face, I get to pick his special abilities, his retainers, and if there's any special armor sets out there that will bestow him special abilities. The armor sets are really cool because you can unlock them in the game by completing certain achievements or by purchasing them through Steam, which is okay. I like to unlock them personally. It's very tough to do, but it can be done. So some of you guys might be saying, hey Big Red One, I don't really care about the multiplayer. It's always been the same thing in the past. You pick some units, you fight some random guy online, you win, you lose, who cares? Well, this time it's going to be very different for you because you're creating yourself here and you're creating your own clan that's going to conquer Japan, which is really, really cool. So when you do fight your human opponents, you're really fighting for yourself. You're not just fighting for the hell of it. You're fighting to improve yourself and your clan. Whether it gets you a new territory that has horses in it so you can recruit cavalry, or it gives you a territory that can improve your armor or your swords, things like that, or it gives you a bonus to your naval ships. There's plenty to conquer and plenty of reasons to do it. And if you've never cared about multiplayer in the past, you need to try this to decide whether or not you're going to care for it now. And if you don't care for it, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it gets much more interesting than this. And so guys, we've come to the end, and I gotta say, if killing people on the campaign map, fighting the real-time battles, and even going online to kill some humans with your own warlord and your own clan doesn't sound like fun to you, I don't know what will. But I'll tell you what, this game's worth it. You're gonna love it. Try it out.